talk another bombing in Syria, you'll notice the title was, because I can't put it in the title because I don't want it to get talking about this. There's an article that came out today, April 19th, by Robert Mackey in the Intercept.com. U.S. bombed a mosque in Syria, killing dozens of civilians, investigators conclude. So there was that bombing on March 16th in the village of Al-Jina that killed dozens of civilians. It was right next to a mosque. It mistakenly targeted a mosque. And the article, and there's even video in the link below, again, it's a tiny URL. Of course, the U.S. is like, no, we knew exactly what we were doing. We knew the area. There was no mosque near it. Or this building to the left that was unharmed was a mosque. It's like, no, you blew up a mosque. And Human Rights Watch is actually keeping track of the damage that we're doing. And it's more of this propaganda. And again, there's no video of this showing. Is Wolf Blitzer showing this video? Oh my God, look at these people we killed accidentally in this mosque. It's awful. No, they just show the gassing of the civilians, of the kids getting chemical weapons. Oh my God, it's awful. Which I question those videos immensely. But as I've said before, to quote Stephen O, even if it is right, why are we doing this? Why aren't we seeing these other videos? I posted on my Facebook and Twitter. My Twitter's handle is @GrahamElwood. Because I know friends of mine who aren't like paying enough attention. They're like, yeah, Graham, but you saw those videos. And the thing I like about social media is I've got a fairly sizable platform to tell people this, because I was like, the emotions you felt when you watch those videos, like, oh my God, this is awful what Assad is doing to those kids. Those emotions of that graphic video, that's exactly why there's no videos of us killing people, innocent people at a mosque. There's no video of that. People go, oh my God, what are you doing? We were just praying. Oh my God. Because then all of America, well, this is bullshit. Why are we drone striking everybody? Can you imagine if another country blew up a church? Let me ask you this. Let's say next to a church there's a gang, or there's a meth lab or something like that, in a nice little small American town, right? Nice little middle America town. There's a church, and next to that church, these guys create up a meth lab, and they're bad dudes. They're awful guys. They're drug dealers, and they've killed people, and they've raped, and they've done awful stuff, right? They've human trafficking for drugs. It's awful stuff. And then the government sends a rocket, and it actually hits the church and kills all the parishioners inside the church that had nothing to do with the meth lab. And maybe they got some of the meth lab guys, and the military's like, we got them. If you lived in that village and you knew parishioners that died in that, would you be like, yay, we got the... And if they were like covering it up in the media and there's no news, and you're like, and they're just showing you some aerial photos and like, yep, that was the meth lab. No, it wasn't. It was a church. This is what America is doing. The rest of the world thinks we're fucking nuts. We're not the big heroes anymore. America wants... What America is doing, it's like if you found out a good close friend or family member, somebody you loved and respected, you found out they were like a serial killer or a pedophile. There's a part of you, just the human thing would just be like, no, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to face that reality. Like, look at Penn State. Oh, Joe Paterno's a hero. Look at his graduation rate. No, there's the FREE report, FREEH report. Google that, where it shows Joe Paterno, there's plenty of emails. They knew about Jerry Sandusky for 13 plus years. And they just wanted to protect their program. And people don't want to admit that because Paterno was their big hero. And I think people are like that with America. America, we're the good guys. Oh, we've made a couple of mistakes, but we're the good guys. We're handing out the Hershey bars to the kids after World War II in Europe, and everyone cheered when we came through and liberated France. Americans still think that, and they don't want to view that we're doing the bad things. We had to go to Assad. We had to bomb Assad because of the chemical weapons. We had to. I don't like it, but someone's got to do something. It's bullshit. We're just an arm for American business interests and the military-industrial complex and the oil. That's all Syria is. I did a video on it. We're just fighting with Russia over who gets a pipeline through Syria to deliver oil to the to Europe, one of the biggest oil markets in the world. It's such bullshit. I'm going to read some of the details of this. It's fucking horrifying. This is what America is doing. And we all just paid our taxes, right? At least 54 cents on the dollar, if not more, of your taxes are going to fund stuff like this. So, Syrian activists and first responders accuse the United States of killing dozens of civilians in an airstrike that mistakenly targeted a mosque in the rebel-held village of Al-Jina on the evening of March 16th. Confronted with these claims, a Pentagon spokeswoman, Navy Captain Jeff Davis, spokesman, told the Intercept that they were mistaken. The area was extensively surveyed prior to the strike in order to minimize civilian casualties. Minimize! So they're even going into it like, we might kill a couple of civilians, but as long as we minimize it. Are you okay with that? If I get some bad guys in your neighborhood, wherever you live in the world, and I just minimize the civilian deaths, and I just get a couple civilian deaths, and maybe one of them is someone you know and care about, is that okay with you as long as we got the bad guys? Minimize? So they're going in with that approach. We deliberately did not target the mosque. Right. And they showed this aerial photograph that's in the link that I'll put below. So he stressed in the briefing that the mosque is to the left of the photo was not targeted. So you see the building that was just completely level, but to the left is the mosque and it wasn't targeted. But as Human Rights Watch reported this week, witnesses in Al-Jina said that the building destroyed by 2 armed Reaper drones firing Hellfire missiles that Brian Williams, he thinks they're beautiful. Hellfire. So people were killed from our missiles, civilians, non-combatants. Firing Hellfire missiles was the newly built Omar ibn al-Khattab Mosque, where about 300 civilians had gathered for the Muslim night prayer. At least 38 people were killed in the attack, which included dropping of a 500-pound bomb. The rights group report was one of 3 parallel investigations to the U.S. strike on Al-Jina released this week by investigators who specialize in the painstaking analysis of social media evidence of potential war crimes. In addition to the testimony of 14 witnesses who spoke to Human Rights Watch, and there's videos of this online, compiled an open source analysis at Bellingcat provide compelling evidence that the building indeed was a mosque. And I'm sure this military were like, hey, what if there was terrorists in that mosque? Okay, let's go back to the same thing. Let's say there's some criminals at your local church. And they blow up and kill the church, and they kill the let's say there's 10 criminals in that during that Christian church service. And they kill those 10 criminals. And then the 38 other people who had nothing to do with the criminals, they also die. Was that worth it? In some little small town? Altus, Oklahoma, little town like that, Montana, suburb of Chicago. You cool with that? Yeah, and there's all these videos here. In this article, I suggest going into it because it goes into great detail the evidence that they've compiled through this. And Human Rights Watch observed the mistaken impression suggests that the intelligence on the targeted area was woefully inadequate. That's the thing. I'm going to leave you with this. According to the Pentagon's own data, the U.S.-led coalition bombing Syria and Iraq has killed between 102 and 396 civilians in 18,645 strikes from August 2014 to the end of February. That's the Pentagon's report. Give or take 202, almost 300. Give or take. 294 human lives. And these reports are saying that they're probably much higher. But even if the Pentagon is completely right and the Human Rights Watch is wrong, let's say it's only 102. Let's say it's the smallest number that the Pentagon admits to. That's 102 too many. That's 102 too many. I've seen what war has done. I've shaken wounded soldiers' hands. I've seen wounded civilians. It's awful. And I guarantee you the people sending these strikes and the people in favor of them have never seen that. And anyone that's like, Graham, but we send the strike so we take out the terrorists so that we don't have to send American soldiers, boots on the ground. These are minimum, 102 people that were civilians that were killed. How many terrorists do you think we created by those deaths? Because I know what I would do. If they blew up and killed one of my friends or family member, I have 6 nieces and nephews. If one of them died in the fight to global war on terrorism or the war on drugs, one of them died needlessly, I'd be like, fuck that, fuck you. I'm joining the goddamn resistance. And YouTube's going to try to demonetize this story. I guarantee you it. I'm going to clean this story up and put the title and make it as, Graham's just talking about cooking tips. Maybe I should just say recipes. Graham's his friend Syria, I'll spell it with a C, gives Graham cooking tips. Let's make that our code. Syria cooking tips. That's when you know I'm talking about bombing in Syria in the Middle East. Okay? This pisses me off so much. I'm so sick that this is my country. I did 7 USO tours for the military, right? And hats off to anybody that signs up to serve this country. My hat's off to you. There's 22 deaths, suicides a day. But this is what our government is doing. The 1%ers. This is what they're doing. The billionaires that run everything. This is what they're doing. And this is what your and I's tax dollars that we all just wrote a bunch of fucking checks for. Well, actually, I didn't. I'm going to pay late because I don't have the goddamn money. So I'm going to incur interest. Support the Patreon, like and subscribe, and spread the goddamn word. Get your friends to wake up to this shit. People who are watching CNN and MSNBC, wake them up. People on the left, we got to wake up the left. The right, the only way they're going to wake up is when Trump fucks the economy and they lose their jobs. We're in a trade war with Mexico. That's the only way they're going to wait, maybe Trump was a mistake. The people on the left, we got to get the people on the left to wake up. I'm doing my best. You guys do your best. Let's get them to wake up, because if everybody starts waking up and calling this shit out, maybe we'll get some change. That's what I'd like to do. See some change before we're in World War III.